Hello, everybody, and welcome in. How is everyone doing today? Hope we're fantastic. And honestly, I hope you're ready to clear your schedules today because we got something fresh and new for everybody today. We've got PRL, the Pure Racing League, here on the screen for everybody today, and this is Season 1, Round 1. So we've got a doozy set of races for everybody here today, and I would like to start off by saying thank you to the Pure Racing League for giving me an opportunity to come in and work with this great organization. And secondly, and most importantly here, we just had several of our members from Pure Racing League here just of course recently compete this weekend at the Rennsport Porsche Esports Challenge, and I just want to say congratulations to all of our Pure Racing League drivers that were there on the big stage performing at the highest level, and I hope everybody absolutely enjoyed that experience. So let's talk about Pure Racing League just for a minute here before we start off with, of course, Division number 2 today. So the season is a one-make season, and this season the car of choice is the 2015 GT3 McLaren 650S. It is a 25-lap race. It's a grid start with a false start check on. It is fastest first on the grid order. In Division 2 and 3, it is started with a 10-minute qualifier. BOP is on, tuning is turned off, balance of performance is used, brake bias is allowed to be used in the lobby, slipstream is real, visible damage is on, mechanical damage is on light. The tire wear is 5 times, and the fuel consumption is ×2. So every time the drivers go around whichever track it is they're competing on this season, they will use 5 laps worth of tires and 2 laps worth of fuel each time around the racetrack is what that breaks down to for everybody watching at home. The grip on the track is real, and there's about a 3-minute timer at the end of the race. Shortcut penalties are on weak, no wall collision penalties, and no correction of vehicles when going off course. That is officiated behind the scenes by stewarding officials provided by the Pure Racing League. Flag rules are turned off, ghosting is off, traction control is allowed, and ABS is allowed. So Division 1 is done by Prima Dino, Dean Held, over on Twitch channel every Sunday evening. If you're wondering where that top division is being broadcast, you can find them over on Prima Dean's Twitch channel there, and we'll get a link up in the next stream for everybody. And we're going to start off with Division 2 here today, and then after Division 2 is all finished up here, race control will get the track checked, make sure everything's copacetic to line up our Division 3 drivers onto the grid, and we'll kick off the Division 3 race right in behind it. So we have back to back racing for everybody here from GT45 Gaming, your host of the day today. Settle in. We're in for some interesting action. Let's see what the drivers have for us here from the Pure Racing League. What is up, Chris? Frothy beverage, chicken wings, hot sauce, locked in. Let's go. Edward coming in with that thumbs up. We got Chris coming in with that thumbs up as well. Welcome in, everybody. And we're just checking on all the streams before we send it over here and make sure everything is running nice and efficiently, of course. All right, there we go. We got lots of coming in here. We got Michael coming in with the heart. We got Chris with the like, Edward with the like, Victory Pace Racing coming in with the heart on stream, Chris coming with the share, VPR coming in with the shares on stream. Appreciate that support as always and the extra love on the streams. So here we go. Let's go see what's in store for us here from our Pure Racing League drivers. All right, let's kick over here and let's go see what's happening. So on the grid in front of us here, you can see we got some cars lined up, and we get to do something a little fun with this since it's this races were done last week, and we're just finally able to get the action to everybody here this week. And then of course, these races will be done for Division 2 and 3 on Thursday evenings here for a couple weeks, and then we'll be moving that program to Monday. So we'll keep everybody updated as we keep moving the times around for everybody. But we appreciate, again, Pure Racing League for coming in and allowing us to do what we do here. So on the grid here, this is after qualifying. Of course, we don't have qualifying, unfortunately, for everybody to show to you today. But what we can do is take a little walk up and down the grid and take a look at who our drivers are here in Division 2. So on pole position here is M. Ferreira, number 9 McLaren driver here, and all the cars are going to be the same here. All right, let's take it down to second place driver here. The second place driver is going to be Apex Sim Racing's Bo Snipe on the grid, and our number 94 McLaren from the United States of America here on the grid as well. We got VPR Young PDK, or Nico you'll see on stream here today because it's using nicknames on the replay. And of course, representing Victory Pace Racing in third place. In beside him is going to be Shovelhead here. Beautiful little livery right there on that McLaren. And of course, another American driver, number 78 McLaren there, fourth place on the grid. Fifth place here is going to be Thunder Runner, and expect this driver to be fairly quick. That's a beautiful looking McLaren right there, and number 97 driver from the United States of America as well. Heading down through the field, we take to our sixth place driver from Flying Fox Racing, finalized, and car's looking sharp as always over there from the Flying Fox Racing Group, and 00 American driver here as well on the grid. So moving down to our seventh place driver is going to be Kanji Club from Victory Pace Racing, number 44 McLaren driver here. Nice, clean, and simple on that racing car here, and also from the United States of America. From there, that leads us down into B Paps. We'll see on the screen, number 53 driver from Canada, and of course representing Team High Prix here this season. We'll love to see it. All right, we got CB Matt from Victory Pace Racing here, a number 11 driver from Canada as well. He's going to be 9th place on the grid, and that takes us to our 10th place driver, Apex GT here, number 76 American driver here as well in that McLaren. Keep moving through our field here. We've got SoCal from what looks to be Flying Fox Racing there, and very nice little livery there from him, and our 33 driver from the United States of America here as well. That takes us down to our final two drivers of the day here, number 12 driver D'Alessandro, and again another distinct driver here, and our number 42 driver from the United States of America, and finally finished off here in 13th position tonight with our Victory Pace Racing driver, Dirty Air, number 75 from the United States of America here as well. So as we get our camera crew off the track here, we'll get ready to kick this race off. All right, let's just go check, make sure everything is working and moving and grooving the way it should be here. We're missing some stream audio. There we go. And let's get some details up on the screen ahead of time here so we don't have to do all that. All right. We're going to try and not make too much microphone noise moving that thing around. I do apologize about the background thumping from the microphone as I'm moving it around. We're working on sorting that out, but let's get ready to go. So let's flip you back over to the big screen here, and let's get ready to do some racing here tonight, ladies and gentlemen. I see that Finis Skull and P2. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we got 25 laps here around Sardegna Road Course in Italy, and this is the reverse layout. So we're going to be seeing these drivers go around this racetrack backwards here today, and the mandatory tire change requirement, of course, in the race. Now, that doesn't mean there's a mandatory tire that drivers have to use. It just means that when the drivers make their pit stop for a tire change, they have to use a different compound of tires. So if they start the race on a racing soft tire, that means when they make their pit stop, they will either need to go to the racing medium or that racing hard tire in order to clear their tire mandate for the pit stop requirement here in the series. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's get to racing, shall we? Kick them tires, light them fires. We're going racing, chat, and we're going to do it quickly. All right, and we're waiting for that green flag, and we are green, 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 and here we go. Great start there from one of the Flying Fox drivers in the back. Grabs a couple quick positions. We're going to sit on with our pole city here as Bo Snipe jumps out to a very early lead. He gets a great launch off the line there, and here we go, heading into turn one, which essentially is the final turn on the track. Most of us know it as. And, ooh, a little clip of the wall there, and we're going to see a lot of that here because it's risk versus reward. It's a very high-speed track, and you really got to commit to use every millimeter of it, and we got a distinct driver out wide in the background. We've got two drivers out wide in the background here, and not the great start for a couple of our drivers here, and it's Thunder Runner and Kanji Club here, so a distinct and VPR driver there having a little bit of a rough race start there, and they're going to start to try and climb back up to the front or up to the back of this pack, pardon me, as Bo Snipe now leading the charge here on race lap number one, pardon me, here in round one. So this is season one, round one, and welcome in everybody to the debut races here from Division 2 and 3 as ran last week. All right, so Ferreira in second place here, just dropping one position currently to Bo Snipe off the race start. Nico here remaining in third place, holding that position off the grid and off the race start. B Pabst here up into fourth place, grabbing a couple quick early positions with Finalize doing much of the same thing there in the first few corners. Shovelhead dropping down a couple positions. He's sitting in sixth place here currently as everybody starts to settle into the race here a little bit. Got Apex GT here in seventh place. We got CB Matt in eighth, and with Dirty Air right behind him. He picked up a few spots from 13th position at the start of the race there, So taking advantage of a little bit of miscues from a couple of our drivers there. Oh, and we got Shovelhead there making a mistake under throttle. It looks like a boy. Oh boy, that was a big hit into the wall there, and that is going to be 30 seconds of some tough racing for that McLaren driver in order for that damage to disappear on the light damage model. So when you pick up damage here on a light damage model in Gran Turismo 7, ladies and gentlemen, that damage stays on that racing car for 30 seconds. So you need to fight that car for 30 seconds, and then after 30 seconds, the car essentially fixes itself and the car is back up to optimal running condition again. So you don't want to make those mistakes, because that 30 seconds of damage could cost you several seconds on the racetrack. And in divisions as tight split as these are, it could be very hard to make up that time on the racetrack. No race sound. Appreciate you. Let's get it done. It is being stubborn here today. We'll get it fixed 1 second. That is not the right one. All right. Black screen for a second. There we go. Should be good. Okay. Thank you for the heads up. Appreciate that, everybody. All right, let's keep moving and grooving here. So on lap 2 here, it is still Bo Snipe in the lead, but now Ferrera has really closed up the gap here. So slipstream is going to play a factor here on the racers. Lots of opportunity and lots of long straight runs where these cars will get up to speed. Not necessarily max speed, but they'll definitely get up into those high RPMs, especially up in 5th gear there, and that'll start to close the cars back up in slipstream. Slipstream's a real thing here. When you get within about 3/4 of a second of each other in these cars, you can start to feel your car pick up speed, and you all of a sudden you start gaining on the car in front of you. So being in that 3/4 of a second or less gap behind the car that you're chasing is very important. It's important for a number of reasons. One, it helps you catch back up to the driver in front of you that you're trying to gain a position on, but it also, if you play it right and you play it smart, it allows you to short shift your car and not lose any time on track or position on track. And the driver in front's actually going to pull you around the racetrack essentially, and that's going to allow you to save a little bit of fuel in behind that driver, and if you do it right, a lot of tires. So that really could prove to be beneficial in, say, a pit strategy style race like this, where you do need to make a mandatory pit stop for a tire compound change. And side-by-side action there as they get through into turn 1, and great move there by Ferrera on Bo Snipe to take the race lead back from Bo Snipe. So our pole sitter finding his way back into the race lead here for the time being, but first, second, and third place, nose to tail as we head through turn 2 here. We're side by side with Bo Snipe and Nico now coming into the right-hander here. It is very tough to battle side by side through some of these portions of these track. You can see Nico there just backing out, realizing that this is not the best place to do this. He's re-engaged when he gets another opportunity there. So as he comes in behind Bo onto this long straightaway here, you're going to see all these cars start to close up. We got Paps now closing in on this group here as well in 4th place, and 5th place is finalized with Ram Apex GT there in 6th place. CB Matt starting to gain some ground here in 7th with Dirty Air right in behind. SoCal, Shovelhead, and Thunder Runner all nose to tail here in 9th, 10th, and 11th place now, trying to catch up to that pack up ahead, and they've got about a 7 to 10 second gap here currently on those drivers, of course, up in front of them here. So they got a little bit of work to do, but plenty of time on the race. It's about an hour-long race at 25 laps here around Sardegna A. D'Alessandro got a little bit of a rough start there, and again, just trying to do much of the same thing, trying to catch up. And Kanji Cub there we've seen also with something happening there in the lap 1, turn 1 incidents there, and now also just trying to do a little bit of catch up here himself as well. So with plenty of time left on the race, and of course a pit strategy involved, none of these drivers are out of this thing here yet. Yeah, Waldemir and Cameron coming in with the thumbs up on the stream. Welcome in over there on Facebook. We do see you and appreciate y'all over on YouTube as well. And we're just going to go and keep checking on things here for a second, and everything's looking good. So, all right, let's keep it as business as usual here, and let's get to why we're here, the racing action. So it is fastest lap on track right now, belonging to our current leader here in the race as we're on lap 4, and it is a 1:41.801. And that is on the Racing Soft tire, so we should suspect to see these times come down as these cars lose a little bit of fuel weight and really get those tires kind of into optimal driving range. I think we'll see 40s, maybe even sub 1 minute 40 laps here around here, as we see Bo Snipe is actually purple coming through that sector right now in 2nd place. That leaves Nico still in 3rd place, and real no immediate urgency there to force anything there, it seems like, from our 3rd place driver here. He's just kind of chilling in behind, and he's He's just running his race right now, so it's going to be interesting to see if or when he decides to try and put some pressure on the guys up in front there. We have Pabst here in 4th place, and slowly but surely, seems like he's gaining on our 3rd place driver, Nico. We got finalized here in 5th place, and he is just right there on the back end of this lead pack here. So 1st to 5th place, only separated by about 1.5 to 2 seconds here currently on the racetrack, and lots of racing left to go here, of course, on the racetrack. The second group of cars here is a little bit of a 3-car pack here, and that's led by Ram, Apex GT, and of course VPR, CB Matt, and Dirty Air, teammates there in 7th and 8th place. And so far so good as they continue to try to charge back up towards Apex GT. SoCal here from Flying Fox Racing, just up ahead of Shovelhead here and Thunder Runner, and these three are still very close together here, and it seems like they're trying to work together to catch the pack, and in all honesty it looks like they're actually seem to be closing in a little bit back on that second group of cars here. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can continue to work together like that and really try to make something happen for extra positions potentially near the end of this race. D'Alessandro here in 12th place, definitely working hard to catch that pack up in front right now. Looks like they're doing a pretty good job of trying to close the gap up, and then Kanji here got a little bit of track to make up here without a question of a doubt, and it's going to be interesting to see. But he is on that racing medium tire here at the beginning of the race, where some of these drivers are on that racing soft tire, so maybe, just maybe, it could work out for him here. Yeah, we got Cody Beat coming in with that thumbs up. How you doing, champ? Hope you're doing fantastic, man. All right, so it's Ferreira here, and has now opened that lead up a little bit here on Bo Snipe and Nico, and it's about 2 to 2.5 seconds almost here now in between these cars, and Bo Snipe here is just settling into his race right now, chasing that racing leader. We got Nico here in 3rd place, and he's, again, just doesn't seem to be too urgent right now and forcing an issue for 2nd place right now. Again, very early on in racing conditions, and just playing it smart, just racing his strategy here currently at the moment. We're already seeing a little bit of patience by the drivers very early on here, realizing that, you know, it's going to be an hour-long race or so, and really everything starts to happen after the pit stop sequence ends. That's when the drivers start really trying to make things happen. So we'll see a pretty settled-in race here for the majority of the middle part of this race. But I tell you, once those pit stops end and the drivers start getting these cars into optimal racing conditions again, I think the action is going to start kicking back off. So Apex GT here in 6th place. We got Matt here in 7th position. Dirty Air here still doing quite good in 8th place, just about a second, maybe 1.5 seconds in behind his teammate currently. And it's starting to kick off a little bit back here now. So this group that seemed to be working together to try and catch up that front group seems to be battling a little bit here now. And that battle is it seems to be led by Thunder Runner there, so you're grabbing a position there on the Flying Fox rubber, and SoCal losing 2 positions there in that exchange as we head down through the start-finish line here into turn number 1. So side by side, this is a very difficult task to do here. This and oh boy, there we go. Shovelhead gets it all wrong right there, collecting the whole pack up there, and that whole group of cars paid a heavy price right there, going 2 by 2 through that corner. They didn't quite make it, but that is advantage to D'Alessandro here now, coming up on this battle that went wrong and looking to collect some positions. So a little bit of a tough racing situation right there, and the outside McLaren just was not able to get that car to turn in, and boy oh boy did he hit that wall hard. So it is Ferreira here in 1st place. We got Bo Snipe and Nico and Pabst here still sitting in 3rd, 2nd, and 4th positions. And again, just not really putting any urgency on trying to force anything right now, just continuing their paces, just continuing to try and keep those gaps closed up, and trying, of course, to break away from the drivers up in behind. We've got finalized here in 5th position. We got Apex GT here in 6th place. We got Matt in 7th with Dirty Air in 8th place. SoCal here now in 9th place, of course, benefiting from that 2 side-by-side battle into turn 1 there. Thunder Runner here now under fire from D'Alessandro here, a teammate, and Shovelhead looking up the inside here on D'Alessandro, and it is battle on here in the backpack, as these drivers are all trying to fight for these 10th, 11th, and 12th place positions here currently, and the more they battle, the better for SoCal up in 9th place right now to break away from this pack. So again, it's very early on in the race at this point. I think the drivers just need to settle in behind each other like they have been, because they were closing up the gap, and then the moment they started battling, oh boy, we got Shovelhead off the track there. That may have been a disconnect. here in the race, it looks like, as that's typically a sign in the spectator mode when you just go automatically on board to the race leader. That typically tells me that the driver we were just watching disconnected. So it looks like Shovelhead there with some kind of malfunction, and it's going to be a DNF, and a car is going to go behind pit wall for the day for Shovelhead. So unfortunate for him, as it's a last place finish in the race here today, and I'm not sure how they score that here in the league, so we're not going to speculate on it, but really unfortunate for the season opener for that McLaren driver. So we continue on here now with 12 drivers on the grid. We've got Bo Snipe still in second place, and Nico is right closed up here. He's right sitting there, just tucked in behind Bo Snipe here, currently just maintaining enough of a distance to allow himself room for braking as we head side by side into the corner here. Nico's going to grab P2 from Bo Snipe. A slight amount of contact going through the corner there, and as we come up the racetrack, Bo Snipe now going to try and respond into the next corner, gets position on Nico, and side by side back through the next section of corners there. Bo Snipe's going to get second place back. Big wiggle trying to get the power down, trying to keep that position. That might allow Nico to get a run, and Paps is sitting there front row seat watching this all shake down, waiting for his moment maybe to potentially grab both those positions as those two drivers continue to battle. So Paps just sitting there right now being patient, watching to see what's going to happen, try to take advantage of a mistake, find an opening, get a freebie here. But Bo Snipe doing a great job so far defending P2 from Nico. It was a great little battle right there between those two, and so far Bo Snipe leading the charge on that P2 charge. Paps right here just sitting in behind that podium, and I mean he's tucked right underneath the rear wing essentially of Nico, currently up in front of him there. And yeah, I'm here, just don't have sound on the phone at the moment. Hey, what's up, Aaron? Hope you're doing fantastic. And it's a very, very tight battle here for second, third, and fourth place, and we see fifth place finalized starting to close into this fight here as well. So that little bit of an exchange right there from second to third place really allowed this mid-pack to close right back up, and that's what we love to see. That's a sign of a good close pace division right there. Got Apex GT here in sixth place, and this driver is honestly in a pretty good position. He's just chilling right now. He's got a little bit of a cushion in behind him, and he's got a little bit of a gap to close up in front of him, but he's got clean racing air, and he's got no immediate pressure. This driver's in a good spot right now at this point in the race, just really focusing on his racing strategy here at the moment and getting clean laps in, and that could benefit him when it comes down to that second stint here today. So CB Matt here in seventh place. He's only got about maybe 2.5 seconds tops in behind Apex GT, but Apex GT's been doing a great job at maintaining that pace from CB Matt here so far tonight. Dirty Air, much of the same thing in behind his teammate there. He's losing just a little tiny bit of time there in behind CB Matt as the race has progressed, but still definitely in shot of capitalizing if a little wiggle or a little wobble happens. And then we get back to this beautiful backpack battle that we've been having here all night long. Currently right now between Thunder Runner and SoCal here, our 9th and 10th place driver, and Thunder Runner does have the gain on the position here at the moment, and both drivers slide coming out of that corner a little bit, but Thunder Runner gets a little bit of an exit and gives himself a slight little bit of a breathing cushion coming into the braking zone, can sit on that optimal racing line there, and of course get the best opportunity at the best corner there. So no immediate pressure here right now from our 10th place driver SoCal, but this backpack battle has been juicy all race long without a question of a doubt, and I highly doubt that it's over. We got Delisandro here in 11th place and was very active in that battle there for a little bit. He's just fallen off the pace of that battle, now trying to catch back up to that group here again. And Kanji here in 12th position. Looks like just having a rough start to the race. Looks like he's pit though, and exchanged his tires here. So on a very long soft stint here, it looks like from Kanji, with still much more than half the race remaining here. And with 5 times tire wear, I don't know if he's going to be able to hold that McLaren on those soft tires for that many laps, but I guess we're about to see how that all plays out for Kanji. So it is Ferreira here, and he's got a healthy lead here right now, and we got some action happening. Let's get that back to this second, third, fourth, fifth place cluster of cars here right now with Bo Snipe, Nico, Pabst, and Finalize, who's just a little bit in behind this group here right now. And again, it just doesn't look like there's a whole lot of urgency for something to happen here, but here we go again. Same corner. Nico's going to grab the spot from Bo Snipe. Pabst is also going to try and follow him through here this time. He's going to try and take advantage. He's been waiting patiently, and he's seen an opportunity, but Bo Snipe's going to close the door. He's going to switcheroo it here, try to get the inside line on Bo, but Bo has good pace, and a little bit of contact as the two drivers come into the corner there, and you can see Bo's just going to check up on the racetrack there, and he's going to allow Nico to of course to get back through, but that does allow Apex GT now to get right on the rear bumper of this fight here, and Paps and Finalize are now going to benefit from that little exchange between these two drivers, and they're going to move up into the podium position. So now these two got some work cut out for them, as of course the pack is closing in on them here as well. CB Matt's now less than 2 seconds in behind that group here, closing in as well. We got Dirty Air in 8th place, not that far off this group. So now the middle part of the pack really looking like it's going to start to close up and start fighting it out here as the race progresses. Thunder Runner here in 9th place has a little bit of time to make up, but he's got himself in some clean racing air and a little bit of space now between him and SoCal. And D'Alessandro's closing in quickly. He's been doing a great job, a fantastic job here at reeling in that McLaren up in front. And it'll be interesting to see what that driver can do here with the remainder of the race. And we've got Kanji here, and it looks like he's got his four-ways on, so maybe just struggling with the racetrack here a little bit today. Maybe the car struggling a little bit as well. It's hard to say what's going on, but just doing what he can and just trying to pick up as many points as he can here in round one. So we'll just continue. He'll continue doing what he can. And racing is racing. Anything can happen. We just never know what's going to happen in racing, and that's the beautiful thing about it. So Ferreira looking cozy right now. He's in command, controlling the pace of the race here right now, looking pretty solid. We got Pabst here now up into second place, of course, taking full advantage of that battle between Bo Snipe and Nico there, and going to move up. And now these two are trying to challenge Ferreira up in front here, and Finalized and Pabst aren't really battling for these positions here currently on the racetrack. It seems like they're just chilling, but we'll wait to see what happens once Finalized, if Finalized can catch up to the backside of the Canadian driver up in front of him here. We got Nico in 4th place here with Apex GT now in 5th position here. So he's gotten ahead of Bo Snipe there. CB Matt now up into 6th place as well. So Bo Snipe's dropped a couple spots here in this part of the race here as well. So it's starting to fall down the wrong direction in the grid here. So it just means he's got to get his head back down. He's got to get his foot back in the pedal there and lock back in and see what he can do here for the remainder of the race to pick some of those positions back up. We got Dirty Air here in 7th position. Finalizes come into pit lane. We got Thunder Runner coming around here. He's currently in 9th place. We'll grab a spot from Finalized, obviously due to the pit stop. SoCal here in 10th position with D'Alessandro fairly close behind here in 11th. I'd say 2, maybe 3 seconds. Trying to close in on that driver. We're looking for another position here. And we got Kanji in 12th place. Now Kanji has made an early pit stop, so that is going to explain the very large separation between himself and the rest of the pack. And sometimes that severe that extreme undercut has paid dividends for drivers in races. So we'll see if that is the case here today in Division 2 race for Pure Racing League. And again, this is a one-make series, and it is the GT3 McLaren 650S 2015 edition that the drivers are going to be racing here all season long. Alright, so let's see what's happening through the grid here. We got Pabst now. He's all by himself here in 2nd place. Not the worst thing in the world. Some nice clean air, no pressure. All he has to do is just focus on putting in clean laps here for the time being. Nico here in 3rd place now after the pit stop and Finalized. And much of the same thing, just a little bit of a cushion there. I wouldn't say that's a comfortable gap, but it's a cushion nonetheless, and it just allows you to focus on sticking to the optimal line around the racetrack as you're just monitoring, of course, how close that driver in behind is. Apex GT here in 4th place with CB Matt still just, you know, a second and a half in behind, maybe 2 seconds there. He's not really gaining, but he's not really losing, so just kind of keeping pace there. We got Bo Snipe here in 6th place. He's managed to find his way back around Dirty Air, so the charge back up through the grid is on here for Bo Snipe right now. Let's see what he can do with this. He's going to come into pit lane there. Thunder Runner here in 8th position, and been doing a really good job at trying to fight his way back up to that lead pack. So can't wait to see what happens here after the pit sequence. It should be pretty good. We got Finalized after the pit stop coming around. Obviously, he's going to pick up those 2 spots from the drivers that have just stopped in the pit lane there. So going to be interesting to see where it all settles out, of course. Once the pit stop sequence is fully done here by all our drivers, I do suspect we're just going to see a one-stop race here today, but that is just, of course, a suspicion. We have Kanji here in 12th place, and not going to get a position back here, I don't think, but should be able to close the gap up a little bit here, hopefully now on the pack. But hey, racing's racing, and sometimes drivers just have tough days, and that's how you recover from it. You know, the next week that matters. So track time is all that ever really matters, no matter what the situation is in a race, and he's on track, and he's still putting in that seat time. So, you know, huge props, and he's giving it everything he's got here. But like I said, half the race over. It's still half a race left. Anything can happen here in this race. Very difficult racetrack in reverse faction as well. Very easy to mistake. We see it to make a mistake. We've seen it a couple times here tonight already, but it is Ferreira here, and just having a good solid run here. So looking pretty decent on the tires here right now, but I would assume that we're going to see a pit stop happening within the next couple of laps here from this driver, of course. So let's see let's do an onboard here. Let's jump on board with our race leader and do a little lap around Sardegna here through the eyes of the driver here. So you just take a little look at what he's doing here. You know, you can see how much of the racetrack you really need to commit to. You need to really flirt with the racing walls here on your apexes, and of course utilize as much of the racetrack on exit. He didn't quite get the exit he was looking for. A little bit of a slide there, but of course those tires starting to really wear down here on this McLaren, and it's just about smoothness and rhythm around some of these racetracks that are flowing like this. And in reverse, that's exactly what it is. You miss one little braking point or turn-in point, and you could put yourself in trouble very quickly, and you're instantly in recovery mode. But this is a very nice lap here so far from our race leader, and still the fastest man on the racetrack with a 41.088 here currently as well under racing conditions. So looking pretty solid. Now you can see here, this is just a very long, hard push on these cars, and then you just come into a medium braking zone here, and it's just all about the rhythm. You can see here he's very smooth, he's very precise in his steering inputs, and that's allowing him just to guide the car around this racetrack right now. And it continues on this kind of driving style and pace all race long. He has a good shot at winning, but he is on that racing soft tire to start the race, which means he is going to have to go to a medium or hard tire, and I highly doubt we're going to see this driver jump onto a hard tire. Stefan coming in with that thumbs up on the stream. How you doing, Paulie B? I'm fantastic, Josh. Hope you're good yourself as well. Alright, so we are going to come into pit lane here, and a little bit of an unorthodox pit entry there from our race leader, but just trying to get to our camera screws here. We don't have our keyboard functions, unfortunately, during replays either, so what do you do? Alright, so now Nico's going to take the race lead here, as he still owes a pit stop here in this race yet too, keeping in mind. But for the time being, he's going to take over the race lead here, and that's going to be our third different race leader here tonight. A little bit of contact from Apex GT around the corner there on that wall, and I did state at the beginning of the broadcast we're going to see a few cars nip that wall here today, as you kind of really, to maximize that corner, you need to weigh the risk versus reward every time. We have CB Matt now up in third place with his teammate right tucked in behind here in fourth place. Ferreira has come out in fifth place in behind four drivers that still owe a pit stop here, so he's looking pretty in good position. Pabst here in sixth place, and potentially losing a little bit of ground on Ferreira up in front after the pit stop sequence there, but he is on that faster compounded tire. We have finalized here in seventh position, much of the same thing. Wright settles back in behind Baps there. We have D'Alessandro in eighth position. We've got Bo Snipe after his pit stop coming out into ninth position. Thunder Runner here in 10th position. We got SoCal in 11th place, and we've got Kanji here in 12th position, and starting to actually close up a little bit there on the 11th place driver SoCal up in front. So you can see that gap is starting to close up between those two drivers in the back of the field here today. So it is Nico currently right now from Victory Pace Racing leading the race here on lap 14, but this driver at some point will have to make a pit stop. When it is, of course, this driver chooses to do that, well, he'll show us when he jumps into pit lane there, but until then all we can do is speculate. So we have Apex GT here. He's starting to close in a little bit here on Nico, and Nico jumps into pit lane, so that's going to give the race lead to Apex GT here now, and this is going to be our fourth different race leader here and our fifth lead change of the day. So you can see that, of course, the paces of these drivers is fairly close here, and it's going to provide for some extremely great battling as the season progresses, I suspect. So Ferrari here, he's going to come back through in second place. We got Pabst here in third place with finalized about 1.5-2 seconds in behind there right now, and no immediate pressure coming there from those drivers. We got Nico, he's going to come out, he's going to sort himself out here in fifth position after that pit stop. Matt's going to come out in sixth. We got Dirty Air in seventh, and Bo Snipe is literally on the back door here as these two drivers have come out. Bo, of course, pit a little bit earlier. We're going to take a look up the inside there on Dirty Air, and he just can't quite get the run, but Dirty Air does go a little bit wide there, and he gets himself into the dirt, and that's going to allow Bo Snipe to get the job done around him there, as of course he has traction down to the ground and not dirty tires. So easy peasy there, and Bo Snipe now trying, of course, to catch up to CB Matt up in front here. We got Dirty Air in behind in 8th place. We got Thunder Runner here in 9th. We got SoCal in 10th, and D'Alessandro still very close in behind here in 11th place. And ooh, a moment there for Kanji. Oh boy, hold on, he gathered that thing up. Great save there by Kanji, and just not having a good racing day, and it happens to everybody, ladies and gentlemen. So next week is a whole new week here for these drivers. So it is Apex GT leading the charge here right now, maybe 10 seconds, maybe a smidge more right now over Ferreira. So when he does finally decide to come into pit lane, that is definitely not going to be enough of a gap to come back out in front of our race leader. But we'll see what happens as he actually comes in for that pit stop right now. So I believe that's the last driver that needs to make that mandatory tire change stop. And it is race on here for the remaining 10 laps as he crosses the finish line here from our race leader Ferreira. So here we go, Apex GT starting to drop down the field. Here's drivers are coming at speed across the start finish line. Pap's going to move back into second, Finalize going to move back up into third place. Nico's going to come, and is he going to take over fourth place? Yes, he is going to come out just ahead of Apex GT here. And Apex GT settles down back into fifth place, chasing Nico here again. That leaves CB Matt still there in sixth position. Bo Snipe here in seventh place. We got Dirty Air in eighth. Thunder Runner here in ninth. And Thunder Runner is in no man's land right now, so he got some work to do there. We got SoCal here in 10th position and D'Alessandro here in 11th. And it looks like we've now lost Kanji here as well. So another driver having some early on car issues here in season 1, round number 1. And it's got that McLaren in behind pit wall. So that team, of course, they'll take a look at that car. They'll assess what the issues going on with that car today, and they'll get that thing sorted out and back on track for round 2, and hopefully the car, of course, is operating as they would want it to operate around the racetrack. But definitely looking like that driver was having a tough day here today, and finally the car going behind pit wall here for the day, and what's going to be a 12th place finish there for Kanji. So Pabst here in second position, looking solid. He's got Finalized, really not leaving him alone though. I mean, the Flying Fox Racing driver here really trying to apply some pressure here on Pabst, and it's a little give and a little take right now, it seems like, between the two drivers as they continue their charge around the racetrack here. But Ferreira has a pretty good lead here, so I think he is going to be tough to catch. It may require a mistake from that driver, but again, he is on the slower compounded tire. So we'll have to wait and see how that shapes out here by the end of the race. Nico's going to come through here in fourth position and fastest man on the racetrack right now as he comes through on that lap. And it's a 140.726 here from Nico currently. We have Apex GT in fifth position, clipping that wall just a little bit again, and not really changing anything for him, but definitely dropping some speed a little bit. And you can see how quickly that VPR CB Matt closed up into the corner there because of that little tap into the wall. That just cost him about 3 or 4 miles an hour, where CB Matt didn't lose that 3 or 4 miles per hour. And you can see how quickly that 4 or 5 mile per hour speed difference really does make on the racetrack here. Oh no, mistake made there by Apex GT. CB Matt went to make a quick little bit of an evasive maneuver there, and I think he just got into the side of that car, or the car just got unsettled on him there, and he clipped that wall. So that is really unfortunate for CB Matt. It's Dirty Air now trying to put a little bit of pressure on there. Some front aero and suspension damage that this driver's going to have to deal with here for the next 30 seconds, and that is definitely going to hurt the charge up the racetrack, potentially even cost him a position to his teammate in behind. So we have Thunder Runner here in 9th position, SoCal still in 10th place, and D'Alessandro still closing in here. So very close together still in that backpack. And if the end of the race is anything of what the beginning of the race looked like, we may see a good juicy little battle there before this thing is over here today. So it is still Ferreira, and well, that gap seems to be closing a little bit here now from first to second and third place. As we come across the start finish line here, it's going to be 8 to go with the lap included, and I mean, they can see each other here now again. So that is definitely a motivation for these drivers on those soft tires when you start seeing the leader getting a little bit bigger and a little bit bigger up ahead of you in the windshield. So I think we're going to see second and third place maybe opt to not battle it out here for 2 or 3 or 4 more laps and see if they can close up and turn that into a 3-way battle for a race win. Nico here in fourth place, got a little bit of time to make up to catch up to that podium pack there, but again, he can just see them going around into the entry of the corner here, which tells him that he has a chance here if he can just make up some time corner by corner here. You never know. Got Bo Snipe here. Bo Snipe now up into 5th place. Of course, we've seen that error there from CB Matt or incident, whatever you want to call it, I suppose, dropping down a position here to 6th place. He did manage to hold off Dirty Air's charge there after that mistake on the racetrack. but again, Dirty Air is still not that far away and trying to apply some pressure back. Apex GT here in 8th place, much of the same thing, trying to get close back up here and try to get as many positions gobbled back up before they can here at the end of the race. So a little bit of early season nerves maybe from some of our drivers, and then just maybe you know, a little bit of familiarity between drivers always makes for a little bit of a learning curve in the first couple of rounds of any season. So you know, by round 3, even round 4, we're really going to see these drivers start to settle into these cars, and of course get comfortable around each other, and that's when the racing is really going to get epic and start to really get crazy on the racetrack. So everybody's feeling themselves out here today. They're checking each other's pace out. You know, they're doing a lot of learning about each other here today, and that's what we're going to see for the next couple of rounds most likely. So it's Pabst here in 2nd place with Finalized in 3rd place. These three having fantastic races here so far. Got Nico not too far behind here in 4th place, and definitely not out of an opportunity for a podium battle here before the end of the race tonight yet either. Bo Snipe here is in 5th position, and it has CB Matt very close behind here in 6th place. Dirty Air is, big weird lag spike right there as he goes side to side. That was interesting. But in 7th place here, Apex GT here, it seems to be closing back in a little bit here on Dirty Air. Thunder Runner here is in 9th place, and again, kind of in no man's land, even though it's not a huge gap in between both sides. It's a much larger gap in front than it is in behind right now, with SoCal and D'Alessandro, well, following very close behind. I mean, D'Alessandro is just right there. I feel like that driver's attempting to set up for maybe a final couple lap battle with SoCal for that 10th place position here on the track, but that's just a commentator's gut instinct. What can I say? We'll see if it happens or not. It is Ferreira here, though, so far with the race lead. Now, opted to start on the soft tire, and the idea when you start on the soft tire from pole position is to ultimately open up the biggest gap you can very early on those drivers that have opted to start on the slower racing tire, and then hopefully when you pit to go into the slower racing tire, you've opened up enough of a gap that those soft tires can't close the gap that you, of course, opened up on them while they were on the medium. So it's a risk versus reward strategy in a sense, but when it works, it's a great feeling. But I tell you, Pabst is starting to put the pressure on our race leader Ferreira here, and as we've got 6 to go with the lap included, we could potentially see a battle for 1st and 2nd place here. Finalized just dripping a little tiny bit off the pace of Pabst here right now, but still in 3rd place. Nico here is still about the same distance behind that front pack right now, but definitely not losing anything to those drivers up in front, and still fastest driver on the racetrack at 140.198, just 2 laps ago there as well. So almost sub 1 minute 40 laps coming here from Division 2. We got Bo Snipe currently sitting in 5th position. CB Matt very close behind here in 6th place as well. We've got Dirty Air in 7th position with Apex GT here now seeming to lose a little bit of pace on Dirty Air up in front here at the moment. So it seems like they're giving a little, taking a little, one lap to the next from each other, and well, we'll see what happens. We got Thunder Runner here in 9th position, still kind of in no man's land, so to speak. We have SoCal and D'Alessandro still only separated by about a second and a half here, those two drivers currently. So we'll see if D'Alessandro can close SoCal up and make a battle out of that 10th place position here before the end of the night. We've got Ferreira here though, and you know, it's starting to look in that rearview mirror a little bit here, and starting to see that that white and blue high pre car starting to get bigger and bigger in that rearview mirror here. So maybe starting to feel the pressure just a little bit here, but there's going to be battle on within the next lap or two here, I think, for the race lead between Pabst and Ferreira, and that's going to be good for Finalized and Nico chasing him behind here in 3rd and 4th place, because that little bit of a battle will allow them maybe to grab another half second to a second on those two up in front here as well, depending on how hard and how long that battle goes on. Nico in 4th. We got Bo Snipe chasing here in 5th place, and he's got a long ways to go to catch up that pack in front. So right now the focus really does need to be on CB Matt in behind, chasing and holding down at least a 5th place finish at bare minimum here for himself today. Got Dirty Air in 7th position with Apex GT here in in 8th. We've got Thunder Runner in 9th. We've got SoCal in 10th. And D'Alessandro starting to close in a little bit here under slipstream conditions. So let's stick with this for a second and just watch what slipstream does here. So these cars are at about the same amount of speed, but that car is just pulling the car in behind closer and closer and closer. So the closer and closer you get in slipstream, the faster and faster you start gaining as well. But these drivers do need to consider that when they come into this situation where you're coming into a corner, that driver that's in behind is coming in a little bit faster than the driver in front and does need to adjust their braking pattern to make sure they don't pile into the back end of that car up in front and of course create a bigger issue. Ferreira in the lead here though, and boy, the pressure is starting to mount as Pabst is closing in here. I mean, he's got that gap within a second of the race leader here now, and with about 4.5 laps remaining around this racetrack right now, we are definitely going to see a battle for this race lead here at some point before the end of this race. Whether or not it's now or a couple of laps from now, it's definitely going to happen. So we're actually just going to kind of stick with this here for a minute because, I mean, that gap is closing. So let's see if Pabst can close up Ferreira here over the next couple of corners, and then getting into that front straightaway, that is where you would assume we're going to see these soft tires have a little more prowess over the medium tires, and there you go. So let's see if Pabst can close in on Ferreira here. And there it is. He's definitely closed the gap up a little bit here, but you can see him just swerve the car out of the line of that slipstream, and that's just to get some clean air into the front end of his car so he can actually get that turn-in point that he wants, not to lose pace with our race leader. And it's very important and very calculated driving here by Pabst so far, and you can see where the benefit is. These soft tires are going to gain on these medium tires bit by bit, especially under traction conditions coming out of exits and going into corners. They can go a little bit later and they can get on the power a little bit sooner than the medium tire runner, and that's why we're seeing these gaps start to close up from our race leader to the soft tire runners in behind. So they are typically about a second faster on the racetrack than a medium racing tire, the soft racing tire, and we are starting to see that right in front of us here as this race really is starting to wind down. 3.5 laps to go, a little less, a little more. And right now Ferreira is definitely in defense mode here as Pabst is trying to apply some good pressure, looking, maybe he's studying this driver right now, trying to find that weakness, try to find that one corner where he's stronger than Ferreira is up in front, and maybe that's where he's thinking about setting up his move. But it's definitely going to be interesting to see what Pabst does here over the next couple laps of this race. Is he going to manage it? Is he going to just be patient and wait till the last lap and turn this thing into a final lap battle? I mean, what are we going to see here today? Finalized in 3rd place, Nico in 4th, closing in on the pack. Bo Snipe here in 5th place. We got CB Matt in 6th. He's trying to close in on Bo up in front. Dirty Eric just having a little excursion there off in the sand, and he gets back up. Apex GT is going to grab that spot there. And the Thunder Runner here in 9th place. He closes that gap up just a little tiny bit because of the mistake made there by Dirty Air. SoCal though now starting to close in on Thunder Runner, and D'Alessandro still right there in behind, just a second off that driver right now. But this is definitely where I think all eyes are wanting to be here right now, is what is happening up front of this race. Our 1st, 2nd, and well, potentially 3rd and 4th place drivers here are going to potentially be fighting it out here for the last couple laps for whatever position that they feel that they can get. But right now Pabst is losing just a little bit of pace on Ferreira up front. So Ferreira has done a pretty good job at managing the pressure here so far from Pabst. But with that being said, Pabst hasn't really applied any real direct pressure, just a little bit of subtle pressure here, just to see if, just to study, just to assess his opponent type thing, and see if he can find a spot on this racetrack to make something happen for a potential race win. But we all know that Ferreira up front, he's not just going to hand it over and make it easy here. So we're definitely waiting to see if Pabst can close in here and make something happen. Finalized here in 3rd place with Nico still chasing. Nico's been flying around this racetrack here in this 2nd stint, feeling real confident with this car on those racing soft tires. And you know, this is not out of the question yet here. He's only roughly about a second, maybe 2.5 in behind the 3rd place driver, so we could potentially see 2 battles for podium positions here before the end of the race. And the back of the pack is starting to tighten up too, so here we go, getting down to those final couple laps here. We got 2 to go. and it is Pabst and Ferreira here, first and second place. We're keeping our eye on that third and fourth place battle in behind there as well. But right now, I think our eyes are going to stick right here with our leaders, and let's see if Pabst can find a way. I really do feel like he's just being patient here. I really feel like he's just waiting for that last lap at a specific point on this racetrack to try and get this done. But he really needs to stay close to Ferreira here in first place in order to make something happen here on the final lap. And he gets a great run out of that corner there, and that should allow him to gain a little bit of time and get closed in on the back end of this car here. So these are all the same cars. These drivers are driving the same cars. It's the same equipment. They're all set up the exact same. This really does come down to the driver sitting behind the wheel controlling the car at this point on these racetracks, and that's what makes it great about One Make Series. It does take it and turn it into a into your skill with the race car, not necessarily the car itself that you're driving. So some people will like the car, some people won't like it as much, but that is the trials and tribulations of One Make Racing. And I mean, we're getting down to the nitties here. We're coming down to the couple last corners of lap number 24, and that's going to take us to our final lap of the race here. And I'm starting to wonder if... Oh, no! Peasbap had an opportunity right there. Ferreira made a mistake. Paps got the run. He went to put the power down, and the car did not want to hook up. He absolutely lost the back end of that thing and goes from potentially taking a first-place race win here out of corner to lead into lap 25. Finds himself falling down the pack a little bit there, so that's going to put Finalize in second. That's going to put Nico up into third place, and Pabst is unfortunately going to fall down into fourth position with some front aero damage, and he is going to be, I'm sure, not too happy with himself there. Just a mistake at the wrong time for that driver. Opportunity struck. He tried to take advantage, and the car just didn't want to do what he wanted to do there. But it's still going to come back in fourth place here, so it's not all lost for him, but definitely an unfortunate thing on the racetrack, and you hate to see it. CB Matt here in fifth place. Got Bull Snipe in sixth. Apex GT closing in here in seventh place. We got Dirty Air in eighth. We got Thunder Runner here in ninth place. We got SoCal and D'Alessandro in 9th and 10th place, and they are nose to tail here now. So definitely things starting to try and kick off here as this race is coming near an end. So let's just stick with our field here. We got Finalized and Nico very close behind. Nico's in the slipstream here now. Can he find one more spot on this racetrack before the end of the race? Paps had second place locked down, potentially even opportunity at first place, and just made an error and finds himself now sitting in fourth place here on the final lap. We've got CB Matt here in fifth place. Just had a good, solid, consistent run here and looking for a nice strong start to his season. Much of the same here for Bull Snipe and Apex GT and Dirty Air here as well, even in 8th place. Just been pretty quiet runs for most of these drivers for the most part here today. Got Thunder Runner in 9th place, SoCal and D'Alessandro here in 10th and 11th, and it's been a little more of an exciting race for those drivers, especially early on here in our proceedings for race number 1 of our 2 race set here this weekend. So here we go. It's going to be Ferreira as he comes across the checkered flag, and it's going to be a race win for round 1 for him. It's going to be a second place finish for Finalize, and it's going to be a third place finish here for the Victory Pace Racing driver Nico. And congratulations to our podium finishers. Babs here is going to come around. It's going to be a fourth place finisher as he does it. Comes around in the grass in some style. There we got CB Matt here in 5th place. It's going to be Bull Snipe and Apex GT here coming across the line in 6th and 7th place. Very close together there. Just cannot get the run on Bull at the end. Dirty Air is going to come across, bring it home in 8th. Thunder Runner is going to take it home here in 9th place. SoCal in 10th. And D'Alessandro is going to finish it off here in 11th place. And 2 drivers in behind pit wall here very early on today. And you hate to see it, chat. You hate to see it. Whew. All right, so that was a little interesting there. We had some tense moments. And, well, you know, that's why we say racing... It's not over till it's over. I mean, until you cross that finish line with that checkered flag waving, that race is not over and nothing is guaranteed. So, I mean, what do you say? That was, well, that was a pretty crazy racing right there. That's what we can say from all our drivers here. Woof. All right, I'm just going to go check on everything, make sure everything's still doing great. You betcha, we are going to be moving right into our next race. So what's going to happen here, ladies and gentlemen, is race control is going to send out the crew. They're going to take a little run around the track. They're going to pick up any debris. They're going to check the walls. They're going to check all the safety measures on the racetrack. And then once they're satisfied that the track is back up into proper competitive condition, they'll line our 3rd division up on the grid here, and we will kick that race off here as well. So while we give our race control an opportunity, of course, to do what they do best and ensure the safety of our racers, we will sit here and hang out with the chat and talk with everybody watching from behind the scenes. So we hope everybody's enjoyed the first broadcast. Again, season opener here for Div 2 from Pure Racing League. This was ran last week, and of course we are just getting this out for everybody this weekend. We apologize for the delay, but can't get you missing any of the action, that is for sure. So race control is just coming into the ear here. They are getting close to lining the cars up on the grid, and we should have a race underway fairly shortly. So we'll do much of the same thing. We'll introduce our drivers here in Division 3 on the racetrack, much like we did with Division 2. We'll kick off the cameraman, get him off the track, and we'll let race control send Division 3's race off. So nothing has changed. The settings are all the same. These drivers are still operating with that 2015 GT3 McLaren 650S, and this is just Division 3 of our 3 sets of drivers here from Pure Racing League this season. So this should be pretty interesting, I would think, here. As race 2 was pretty good, so we'll have to check out all of the battling on the racetrack, obviously, and see what happened here last week for our Division 3 drivers. So we don't have a division racing here this week, of course, due again to the Rensport Esports Porsche Challenge that was happening in California. So round 2 will, of course, progress back next Sunday for everybody to come and see how round number 2 goes. And I believe it's the Nürburgring GP here for round number 2. So we are going to go take a look at our starting lineup. As soon as I click a couple of buttons. All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so let's take a look at our Division 3 lineup here today. The race control, absolutely lickety-split getting that track ready, I got to tell you. And they already got these drivers ready to go here. So as we go through our order here, we got 12 absolutely beautiful McLarens on the racetrack here today. And today's race is going to be led off by Apex Sim Racing's Guardian here on pole position. So our number 16 driver here, and again, a United States driver, going to lead things off here for Division 3 in round number 1 today. He's going to be lined up with Jay Satina in the second position here from 10 Tenths Racing, and he's number 27 driver and also a United States driver here as well. Lined up beside him is going to be TT Egon, and our third place driver, the number 1 car from Canada here, going to take us off in third place. Moving down to the grid here in fourth place, we got a car that I'm sure has a livery, but isn't showing it here right now. We got John Ruiz in fourth place, and we don't know what number his car is. We got a little livery glitch going on here. So moving down through the grid, we got VPR Marv here, and he is our number 28 McLaren driver from Victory Pace Racing and representing Canada on the racetrack here this season. And coming in from Flying Fox Racing is going to be Tom the Tech, the number 9 McLaren here from the United States of America, going to represent here Flying Fox Racing in Division 3 and starting off in the middle of the pack. That takes us to a teammate right there in behind from Flying Fox Racing as well, Soonerman, our number 88 McLaren, and also representing the United States of America here on the track this season. That takes us to Victory Pace Racing, VPR Shredda, number 84 driver, and of course you can see there, he's got that Mexican flag up on there, so South American driver coming in to represent here. That takes us down into our next driver, Apex Sim Racing's Heathen, and the number 1 McLaren here from the United States of America, and we got a 0-1 and a 1 here this season. That takes us to M. Morin from Flying Fox Racing, the man himself, team owner over there, representing here this season in the number 86 McLaren, and also representing the United States of America here on track this season. That takes us down to our second last driver here. Well, it just says Ruiz on the sheet here, so we'll just stick with that. And we don't know much about this driver currently here right now, but doesn't have a number on the side of the car, so we'll just rock and roll with it. And then of course that takes us to Victory Pace Racing's Chip Reese here, our final driver on the grid tonight, starting in 12th place, number 04 driver here, and representing of course the United States of America here as well. So while we get our drivers and camera crews and everything off the racetrack, we will get ready for race number 2 here today. All right. Get rid of our cheat sheets here and get back to business, shall we? So let's flip it over. You can see we got our cars lined up on the grid here, and it's time to get racing. So here we go again, ladies and gentlemen. Division 3, Season 1, Round 1 from the Pure Racing League starts now. Kick them tires, light them fires. Hey, we're already racing, chat. Let's get going. So it is going to be Apex and Racing Guardian on pole position. He is going to get the good run off the start-finish line here to start round number 1. And as he comes through corner 1, he's going to get through safe and sound. Egon J set side by side through the first corner there, and oh boy, that is always risky business. And boy, the pack is just bundled up here as we head into turn number 2. And let's see if we have any proceedings here. A little bit of contact there between a couple of mid-pack cars there, but no harm, no foul. Everybody's surviving here so far. So great race start so far here from Division 3. So it is Guardian here in the race lead. We got Jay Satina here in second position with teammate Egon in behind here in third place. We got VPR's Marv in fourth, but under pressure here from John Ruiz, and side by side battling here now as they come into the next corner, and he is on the outside, so the hard way around here, and a great response here from VPR Marv, but it looks like John Ruiz is going to edge him out here and move up into fourth position. So great battling right there between those two drivers, and Marv is going to find himself sitting in fifth place for the time being. That leaves Soonerman here in sixth position with Shredder closing in seventh place. He's going to take a little bit of look up on the inside there going into the kink, but of course Soonerman, pardon me, has lots of momentum there and easily keeps him from getting inside position. Tom the Tech here drops down a couple spots at race start early on here into eighth place. M. Morin here in a ninth position from Flying Fox Racing right now, and already the drivers have already started to settle into this race here in single file. Tony Rees in 10th position. We've got Chip Rees here in 11th, and Apex Sim Racing's Heathen here with an early on endeavor, just falling a little bit off these drivers here, sitting in 12th place. But again, 25 lap race, plenty of time for these drivers to make it up on the racetrack here, and a mandatory pit stop for a tire compound change is required. What that tire compound change is entirely up to the drivers, but it does need to be different than the racing tire they started on. So it is Apex Sim Racing's Guardian here in the race lead. We've got Jay Satina chasing here in second position with TT's Egon in third place. It's John Ruiz in fourth position, and just a small little gap right now in between him and third place currently right now, and of course our fifth place driver VPR Marv still very close in behind. So the front five still fairly close together, and then there's a little bit of a gap there, and then we got the whole backpack bearing down. So very close together racing here so far from our third division. Flying Fox as well, you think, Aaron? Appreciate you. Yeah, we've had delivery glitches here lately in the replay since the update again, so we do apologize to everybody, especially for those that take all the time to paint the race cars up and represent. We do apologize that, you know, sometimes we just can't help it, I guess. It is what it is. The game gives us what we have to work with. All right, we got M. Morin here in 9th position. We got Tony Ruiz in 10th place here as well. We've got Apex Sim Racing's Heathen now up into 11th place here, and we've got Chip Reese here down in 12th place, and a little bit of racing damage on that car here, so indicates that he may have had a little bit of a complication on the racetrack and gets himself back on the track and continues on racing. There's some front aero and suspension damage on that car. It'll disappear here in a few seconds time, and you'll be able to get back up to full pace again. Lots of time left in the race, see what he can do with it. We've got Apex Sim Racing's Guardian here still leading the charge here right now, and he was in pole position to start the race, so far so good here for the Apex Sim Racing driver. TT's Jay Satina here sitting in second position and starting to try and put some pressure here on Apex Guardian, but Apex Guardian has great line through the corner there and has no issue holding off Jay Set in behind here, but he's definitely in the slipstream. So let's stick with our race leader here, see if we see a battle between the two heading into turn 1 here, and it's risk versus reward going side by side as we've seen in Division 2 there, and nope, just opts to stay in behind there, gets a big run through there as ATB eats a little bit of that grass on the inside of the curbing there, and that may hurt him coming into the corner here. And is Jay gonna just take a look? No, Jay's just being very patient here right now as he settles in behind the race leader, and Egon in behind the third place has now been able to close back up to these two, and it is again like much what we saw in Division 2 just a little bit earlier here. Our top three drivers nose to tail here very early on in the race. That leaves John Ruiz up here in fourth place, and VPR Marv still very close behind in fifth place within a second there, and these two have just lost a little tiny bit of pace off that front pack, but I mean they can still see him, so lots of time for anything to happen there. Jay getting a little bit wide there, and Egon not able to quite take advantage of it there, and he's just going to sit in behind. We got Tom the Tech here in 6th place and moved up a couple of positions here after the race start. Went down to 8th, back up into 6th here, and starting to try and find his way up to the backside of that 2-car pack up in front of them are VPR Marv and John Ruiz. We have Shredda here in 7th place, and Soonerman right there in 8th position, just about a second, maybe a little less in behind, just trying to catch that slipstream here right now, the driver in front. We got M. Morin just in behind there, his teammate as well, in 9th position. That leaves Tony Ruiz here in 10th place, and Apex Heathen here in 11th, just skipped over him there as he comes around. Half-second track limit penalty here, and Chip Reese here in 12th place. So a couple of our drivers having a rough start to the day here, and but you know what, lots of time left on the racetrack yet, and anything can happen. So we've seen it in race number 1. Let's see what happens here in race number 2. All right, side-by-side action here. Jay Satina and Apex Guardian here as they come into corner 1, and lots of respect given there. Oh, and Jay hits the wall. Egon gets collected up there. Oh boy, that is a bad situation there. 2 teammates getting into each other there, and John Ruiz is going to try and take advantage here and get up the inside of Jay Satina. Jay goes really wide into the corner with a damaged race car there, and he's going to give up 2nd place there. And really unfortunate there for Egon as he comes around the corner there and really nowhere to go. Gets piled up in behind there, and only losing 1 position there, but not bad. But boy, VPR Marv is right there, and he's got a car that's not damaged, so he's going to be looking to take advantage here while he has an opportunity. A little bit of contact there between Marv and Egon again, and a great tight battle coming into the corner there. There was a very small amount of room there, and he just managed to make that pass work. That was a great move there for VPR Marv, getting ahead of TT's Egon there, and Marv moves himself up into 4th place, taking advantage there and made it work. That was absolutely a great pass there by VPR Marv on Egon there, and Egon down into 5th place. That has Tom the Tech now right on the back door here. He's tucked right underneath the tail fin of that McLaren. We got a nice little 5-car pack here battling for position, and Tom the Tech goes a little bit wide there in the corner, gets into the marbles, and now Marv taking a look at Jay Satina here, trying to get into 3rd place, side by side going into the corner. The optimal line coming into the corner here, and he's going to get the job done. So from 5th to 3rd place in just a handful of corners here, and VPR Marv now trying to move his way up to Ruiz there in 2nd place. So that was some great battling right there, and well, opportunistic passing here from VPR's Marv. Got Tom the Tech here in 6th place. He's gotten right back up to the back of this pack. Here's a little bit of a dirty air moment when he was in behind Egon there, and they managed to keep the car in the right spot. So he's right back into this fight here, getting right back on the charge on the back end of this front pack. And boy, 6-way battle here right now for podium position. So that's always exciting. We got Shredda in 7th place. He sees all of this kicking off up in front here, and he has just got his foot into that loud pedal. Like, come on, keep battling, boys. Keep battling. Just a couple more corners. Give me the opportunity to close in. A little bit of a mistake, however, coming into turn 1, and that's going to allow Soonerman to close up a little bit there, and M. Morin as well here in 9th place. Tony Ruiz in 11th position here, and he's got Apex Sim Racing's Heathen starting to close in on him here. So Apex Heathen seems like he's starting to settle in to the race a little bit here and trying to put some pressure on the top 10 driver there up in front of him. Chip Reese here in 12th position, and it looks like he's just having a rough day on the racetrack here today. He's just a little bit behind the pack, and we've seen that from a couple drivers in race number 2 as well. It's a very difficult racetrack in reverse layouts, so not surprised to see that 1 or 2 or even more drivers are going to have a struggle in each division, I'm sure. So Guardian's still leading the charge right now, and I mean, he was getting some pressure there from Jay Satina, and unfortunately for Jay, hitting the wall there coming out of turn 1, and that has now actually given Apex Sim Racing's Guardian just a small amount of breathing room. He's got about a maybe 2.5 second gap on John Ruiz right now in 2nd position, and looking pretty solid here so far early on in the race. VPR Marv here, again, opportunistic passing here from this driver. Yeah, a couple drivers in front made a mistake, and he absolutely just picked him apart and found himself grabbing a couple of positions. Tom the Tech as well has found himself now up 2 positions into 4th place ahead of Egon. Egon here settling into 5th place, and now Jay Satina settled in here in 6th position here, and a rough start to his race here as well, but lots of racing left to go on with 20 laps remaining. Anything can happen yet, so I'm sure we're not going to be done with the great and worst moments from some of these drivers on this racetrack. But we've got Shredda here in 7th position. We got Soonerman here in 8th place, and Shredda is really starting to close in on Jay Satina there as well. We got M. Morin here. He's lost a little bit of distance on Soonerman in front. That tells me that maybe he had a little bit of an issue in one of the corners there, and that just gave us some free time. Tony Ruiz and Apex Heathen here still very close together, nose to tail right now. Doesn't seem like Heathen's immediately trying to put some pressure on this driver. I do feel like that maybe they're trying to work together a little bit here, potentially to try and close the gap up to Mark Morin up in front, of course, in 9th place. And Chip Reese here, he's still putting in his paces, but just a tough start to the racing season here for this driver. I mean, it happens. It happens. Y'all boys are wild. All right, so it's Apex Sim Racing's Guardian. We got Tom the Tech off the track in the background here. We're not sure what's happened there, but definitely going for a ride, and he somehow manages actually not to pick up any damage on that racing car, which that in itself is pretty impressive, as he was mowing some grass over there on the right-hand side of the left-hand side of the racetrack, pardon me, for racing officials here. So sorry, my dude, you don't get brownie points for helping the maintenance staff out, but great job of keeping that car out of real trouble there. Only really all it cost him there was a little bit of time, so Jay Satina closing back up and Shredder closing back up on him here, and this is kind of starting to develop into a three-way battle for 6th, 7th, and 8th place, or 5th, 6th, and 7th place, pardon me. And that, of course, being headman right now by Flying Fox Racing, Tom the Tech, very efficient race car driver as well. Jay Satina tucks right in behind here, and just going to sit in behind here as we get through the corners. So lots of racing left. Ooh, a mistake made there, though, by Tom the Tech, and Jay takes it inside, but Tom the Tech gets a great run on the exit there and just puts himself back in front of Jay there. And this is a great, healthy battle right now for, as I said, 5th, 6th, and 7th place between these three drivers. Shredder, again, he's not really battling right at the moment. He's just chilling there behind, watching it go down. Again, front row seat, got the popcorn popping, got the 3D glasses on, and he's ready to go watch the show here. And again, you know, like we said, maybe take advantage, maybe pick a spot or two out of it while these two drivers battle here a little bit as well. Hard to say what's going to happen there. We do have Suderman starting to close in on the fight here as well in 8th position. Got M. Morin here in 9th place. Tony Ruiz just comes across there in 10th place to start his lap 7. Apex Sim Racing's Heathen just losing a little bit of ground on him there as that lap progressed. And Chip Reese here holding down the field in 12th position here, and got a little bit of work to do, but putting in the paces, getting everything he can done. LOL, just giving driver commentary. It's great. We love it. We love the insight. We love the insight, my guy. We've got Guardian here in 1st place. We got John in 2nd place. So Guardian's opened up that gap just a tiny little bit more, it looks like. We've got VPR's Marv here in 3rd position. We've got Egon in 4th place, trying to close back in on Marv there and try to get that spot back. We got Tom the Tech here in 5th place, and he's got Jay Satina here still plastered to the rear bumper of that car here as they continue around. And Shredder is just right there, stone's throw away, waiting for something to kick off and take advantage of it here as well. So you see Suderman just off in the background there, also trying to close up on this group here and try to get himself in the fight here as well. So Tom the Tech and Jay Satina is going to go up the inside here. He gets a better run coming out of the corner there, and that's going to give him the inside track here, coming through the next sweeper here, and is just able to hold down the position here from Tom the Tech, to take that defensive line going into the final corner here. And you can see Tom's been getting a good run with his entry exit out of that corner there, and does make some ground back up on Tom the Tech in behind, chasing in behind here. And Shredder, again, just sitting there right now, front row seat, watching it all go down here as these drivers continue on around the racetrack. Nolander coming in with the thumbs up. Stefan coming in with the thumbs up. Hope everybody's doing fantastic. How we all kicking tonight. Alright, so Shredder here in 7th position. We've got Suderman here in 8th. We've got M. Morin in 9th. We've got Ruiz in 10th. We've got Heathen in 11th. And we've got Chip here hanging it out there in 12th place. Car's looking nice and good there. Let's grow, my guy. How you doing, brother? Alright, so it is Apex Sim Racing's Guardian, and we are on lap 8 of 25, so we're not halfway there yet, so lots of racing left to happen. As we've seen in the race previously in Division 2, the drivers are required to make a pit stop, and that is a mandatory tire compound change. What that tire compound is entirely up to each individual driver, but it does have to be different from the tire that you started the race on. So it is Guardian here leading the charge, and slowly but surely just opening the gap up little bit by little bit here on Ruiz up in front for the time being. Got VPR's Marv here in 3rd place, and he's had a good calculated race here. Took advantage of a couple of mistakes for drivers in front, and finds himself sitting on the final step of the podium here currently right now with about a third of the race in the books. We've got Egon chasing in 4th place, and he's our 0-1 driver here in the field. And of course, we got a number 1 McLaren here also in the same division. So a little interesting there. We got Jay Satina now trying to break free from Tom the Tech and Shredder here. Tom the Tech and Shredder battling it out here for 6th and 7th place. And I wouldn't even call it a battle right now. Again, they're just kind of chilling in behind each other here. And I think Shredder's playing a little bit of racing strategy right now in behind the Flying Fox Racing driver, Tom the Tech, here as we head down across start-finish line to start lap 9 We've got Suderman here in 8th position with M. Lauren here in 9th. We've got Tony Ruiz in 10th place. We've got Apex Sim Racing's Heathen here trying to close back up on that driver here in 11th place. We got Chip here in 12th position, but it is... Oh, we had something happen there. We got John Ruiz now up in the lead of the race. There must have been a little mistake from Aaron there, and he is going to move up into the race lead here. So Apex Sim Racing's Guardian here now down into 2nd place and under fire from VPR's Marv here in side-by-side action. A little bit of tire-to-tire contact there, and that pushes ATV's car out a little wide into track, catches the wall, but he manages to get the position somehow there in a little bit of Rubbins racing as those two drivers are fighting for 2nd and 3rd there, but both cars come out in one piece and still moving in the right direction on the track, and Egon looking to take advantage here now as he goes up beside VPR's Marv, but he's going to be on the outside. It's going to be the tough way around the racing track here, and he's just going to settle back in behind here for the time being in 4th place, but now Egon has the front row seat as the battle for the podium starts to kick off here, and we're not even halfway through the race here. It's funny how these Pro-Am divisions always just send it every race, all race long, and give us great racing action, isn't it, ladies and gentlemen? At its finest, that's for sure. Jay Satina here in 5th place with Tom the Tech in 6th position. We've got Shredda here in 7th place as well. That now leads us into Soonerman here from Flying Fox Racing in 8th place. He's been holding down this position relatively all race long, and he's doing a great job there, but starting to lose a little bit of pace on the pack up in front. And Morin here in 9th position with Tony Ruiz in 10th place. We got Heathen here in 11th, and we got Chip here in 12th. It's a Pro-Am lobby, Jay. It's a Pro-Am lobby, my guy. Alright, John Ruiz here now in the race lead and trying to open the gap up here, very quickly actually doing so on Apex Sim Racing's Guardian here right now, who was having a pretty good race. So we missed what happened to him there, but still sitting in 2nd place, so it's not all lost right now for him. He just needs to try and close back up to the race leader. He's got Egon. Oh, we have something happening off in the background there. Looks like Marv maybe made the mistake there, but gonna lose a position at least for sure there to Jay, it looks like. But let's go see what happened there. We got Jay in 4th, we got Tom the Tech in 5th, we got Shredda in 6th, and VPR Marv losing 3 positions there. Looked like a throttle incident off in the background from what I could see for what we saw there, and just getting that car sideways keeps it out of damage, which is fantastic, but gonna lose 3 positions here. Now he's gonna have to be back on the charge to try and gain those positions back. We got a battle up front here between Tom the Tech and Jay Satina here. This is a fight for 4th place right now, and looks like Tom the Tech is gonna get the job done here as we come up the straight. Jay is just gonna settle back in behind here. Now Tom the Tech sitting up in 4th place, and Jay Satina finds himself back in 5th place. We got lots of action happening here, especially in the mid pack of this race. Jay's gonna take a look up the inside, big wide corner there from Tom the Tech, and Jay can't get the power down. Little wiggle coming out of that car, coming out of the corner, and he's just going to have to settle back in behind Tom the Tech here in 4th place. And it seems like Jay really wants 4th place back here as they continue around the racetrack, but Tom the Tech playing a defensive line here, going to hold down the position for the time being from Jay, and boy oh boy, here we go, using that slipstream, trying to close up the gap. Is he going to look for the slingshot engage coming out of the S sectors here? We'll have to wait and find out, as we got a hairpin corner to deal with first, and it is nose to tail racing here for 4th and 5th place from Flying Fox Racing and 10th Racing. Again, VPR driver sitting here front row seat, checking it out, waiting for something to happen here, trying to close up the gap while these guys fight, and maybe again take advantage and grab a position himself. But VPR Marv is right in behind as well in 7th place, and I'm sure he has nothing but making up ground on his mind right now after a mistake on the racetrack. We got Suderman here in 8th place, with M. Morin in 9th place, and a little bit of separation here from some of the back drivers in the front, some of the drivers in the back part of our pack here currently, but that could all change with pit stop strategies as we progress towards the middle part of our race. Tony Ruiz here in 10th place. We got Apex Sim Racing's Heathen here in 3rd position, and Chip Reese in 12th position. Again, rough start, but he is starting to close ground on a couple of those drivers up in front of him here. So he's got his head down. He's putting in good solid laps right now, and is paying off for catching up to some of the guys that are having a rough race themselves up in front. So it is John Ruiz, good healthy lead here. I mean, we're looking at 6 to 7 second gap at this point to our 2nd place driver now, who is TT's Egon. Apex Sim Racing's Guardian here down into 3rd place here, so finding himself moving the wrong way down in the order at the moment, but not losing it quickly, still in the fight, and he's still right there chasing 2nd place. So he's still having a good race here, and the charge is on here for Apex Sim Racing's Guardian. Tom the Tech here has broken free from Jay Satina a little bit here, and now trying to, of course, close the gap up to the 3rd place driver up in front of him, which is Apex Guardian. And it looks like Jay Satina has himself facing the wrong way on the racetrack there. A little mistake coming out of the exit of the corner there, and he is going to drop himself down a few positions on the racetrack as he's that car having a hard time getting around there. So M. Morin here's coming around, and all the way down to 8th place here currently on the racetrack is Jay Satina right now. And you can just see he's finally getting back up to speed here on the racetrack, and now M. Morin is on the hunt here to try and get 8th place away from Jay Satina. So tough racing out there for our number 27 McLaren here today, and with half the race going, have to see what he can do with it. Chat, you're amazing. We love you, chat. Chip Reese here in 12th position, and doing everything he can here to try and grab position. As soon as I said that, I know, right? I know. Commentator's curse, isn't it beautiful? Gotta love it. All right, John Ruiz in first place, looking solid. Continues to open a gap up here. Looks like he's catching a driver who may have just made a pit stop by the looks of it. Going quite slow on the racetrack, or just not having a good, it could be Chip, I'm not sure. We've got Egon here in second position, and I mean the gap is 6-7 seconds, maybe a little less, to the race leader here currently. That leaves Tom the Tech now up in third place here, and the first time I think he's been on the podium here in this race, and he's got a nice tidy little gap to Shredda and Marv in 4th to 5th position here. So two VPR drivers very close together here now. Marv, starting to close up on Shredda here, and we'll have to see if those positions change here leading into the next couple laps. We got Suderman up into 6th position. We got Guardian after making a pit stop here down into 7th place. We got Jay Satina here down to 8th place with his little discussion with Barry R there. We've got Mark Morin here in 9th place, and he's closing in. He's trying to see if he can find that positional battle there with Jay Satina up in front. We got Tony Ruiz here in 10th place. We've got Apex Sim Racing's Heathen in 11th place, and we've got Victory Pace Racing's Chip Reese here still moving and grooving currently right now on the racetrack here in 12th position. So pit stops are starting. Yeah, future commentator's curse since it happened a week ago. Yep, you're right. Alright, so it's John Ruiz here in the race lead. Also my patented undercut this race. Egon here in second position. We got Guardian here in third position. So there we go. Our race leaders in the same order as they pit. Tom the Tech comes out, loses a position in pit lane here. He drops himself down into 4th place. That leaves VPR's Marv in front of TT's Jay Satina here, who has yet to pit. So back up into 6th place, but when he makes that pit stop, going to give some of those positions back up on the racetrack. We got Shredda here in 7th position, has made that pit stop. We got M. Morin is still owing a pit stop, and gets it a little bit wrong there. He's going to kiss that tire wall, and very fortunate there not to pick up some damage on that racing car. That leaves Suderman here, who has made a pit stop, chasing in 9th place and trying to get that position before M. Morin even makes the pit stop here. We got Tony Ruiz in 10th place. We got Apex Sim Racing's Heathen here in 11th, and we got Chip who has just made a pit stop but picked up some damage somewhere along the way, and it's just been an off race for that particular driver here. But again, like we said much in the second race, next week's a new week and a whole new race. So John Ruiz in first position, and I mean, just looking good right now. He's got a decent gap on second place driver Egon, and it's about 5 seconds right now, and there's about a 2 second, maybe 3 second gap between him and third place driver Apex Sim Racing's Guardian here at the moment. So some pretty good pace happening by those front three. We got Flying Fox Racing's Tom the Tech. They're almost getting it wrong coming out of the final corner there. Gathers the car back up, and potentially just on some cold racing tires there. Hasn't quite got him up to temperature, and just a little bit slippery maybe as he's coming around the racetrack right now. We got VPR's Marv here in 5th place. You can see TT's Jay Satina now coming into pit lane to make that pit stop out of 6th place. That's going to give Shredda the position there as he comes around. We got M. Morin, it looks like, coming into pit lane there as well, like a rocket ship. Leave Suderman going around, grab that position. So Jay and M. Morin here in the pit lane. Ruiz is going to go around here one more time. Tony Ruiz, that is. We got Apex Sim Racing's Heathen here in 9th place now with those pit stops from those drivers, and Chip Reese, just not having a good day. Hey, you know, maybe something wrong with that McLaren. Maybe he's just something not quite right there, and Apex Guardian, they're having to just make a little bit of a dodge there to get around that car as he's trying to get it out of the way. But no harm, no foul done there, but unfortunately there for Chip, and just having a rough day today. That's the way it goes sometimes. We got John Ruiz here in first position. We've got TT's Egon here in second place, and the gap is closing. The gap is starting to close. Apex Sim Racing's Guardian is about the same distance between himself and Egon, which means he is also closing in on the race leader. Brown Pants moment number 2. Tom the Tech here in fourth place, and he's got VPR Marv in fifth place here, just in behind chasing. That leaves Shredda now. Ooh, grinding that wall around in the grass there in where are we at, sixth place here, and that is definitely going to cost him a little bit of time and momentum on the racetrack, and that's going to allow Suderman to gather up a couple of seconds there and continue to try and get his charge towards sixth place. Tony Ruiz here in eighth position with Heathen right there in ninth place. And are we going to see a positional change here as we head into the corner? Heathen looking up the inside, goes a little bit deep on the exit there. That's going to open up the inside back for Tony Ruiz, but he doesn't take he isn't able to take advantage of that opening, and Heathen is going to grab a position, and Tony Ruiz trying to get it down on the power, and another incident in that corner with another car losing the back end around the corner and facing the wrong direction on the racetrack, and he's going to lose a couple of spots there, and you hate to see it. Oh, and we got a car down here, we got Chip down here as well, so boy oh boy, track is clearly a little bit slippery here as the sun has dissipated in behind the clouds here, and oof, we got a big lag spike coming right there from John Ruiz. Not sure what's happened there. He was not driving into the wall, I think, but yeah, definitely some issues happening at that moment on the racetrack. Egon here in second place. We got Guardian here in third position. We got Top Detect there in fourth. We've got VPR's Marv here in fifth place with Shredda in sixth, and Suderman very close behind here in seventh place. That leaves Apex Sim Racing's Heathen here in eighth position, and he's got no pressure now. Can really focus on putting in some clean laps. We got Jay Satina here in ninth position. We got M. Morin still chasing in 10th. Tony Ruiz has gone into pit lane and made that tire swap, and Chip Reese here in 12th position. And again, the lag, some very bad lag spikes happening here for our leader right now, and I mean, that's just an unfortunate reality of the sim racing world right now in GT7, is sometimes we get issues, weird lag spikes or weird moments on the racetrack like that, and sometimes they only affect certain drivers, sometimes they affect the whole field, but it definitely makes it difficult to determine where that car is when those things are happening, and it makes it hard to want to put your car at risk to pass in that situation. So we've got Egon here in second position, we've got Guardian here in third place. Not a whole lot changing at the moment up front. Tom the Tech here still chasing in fourth place, and I mean, he's got no one putting any pressure on him in behind. Really, his goal is to try and close up the front half of this pack. Got VPR's Marv here in fifth place, and he's in no man's land. He's got big gaps in both sides of him here, so really it's just about putting in good clean laps, trying to get him as quickly as he can and see what happens when dust settles here. Got Shredda in sixth place, and he isn't as comfortable here. He's got Suderman in behind, about 2.5-3 seconds in behind. It's a cushion, but it's not a comfortable gap by any means. We have Jay Satina here now in 8th place as Heathen makes his pit stop there, and that's going to be another position up for that driver. We got M. Morin here in 9th. We've got Heathen just getting into his pit box here, our number 1 car here in the field. We've got Tony Ruiz here in 11th position, and Chip holding out here in 12th place. So definitely looks like there's something wrong with that car here today, and it's obviously causing some issues on this racetrack, but he still managed to keep that thing going, and again, just trying to maximize what he can for points here today. So that's just the way it is. You got to keep moving, and Chip Reese is doing exactly that. So John Ruiz here in first place. We've got Egon here in second position. We got Guardian right there in third position, and again, just nothing really changing there. The gap's just kind of being maintained. Tom the Tech kind of looks like he's starting to close in a little bit. Egon's currently got fastest lap on the racetrack with a 141.789. VPR's Marv here in fifth place, and again, just no man's land. Paradise coming in with the thumbs up. Hope you're doing good, Daniel, my guy. Hope everything's well. Shredda in sixth position. We got Suderman here in seventh. We've got Jay Satina here in eighth. We've got M. Morin in ninth position. Oof, making a little mistake there, having a little bit of a quick touch with the wall there, but manages to scave damage, so that's always good. Just a little bit of cosmetics. Apex Sim Racing's Heathen here in 10th position. We got Tony Ruiz here in 11th, and we got Chip in 12th place. And some of the drivers having to get the paint boys to do a little bit of touch-ups on these racing cars, but hey, that is what happens in racing. All right, so it is John Ruiz in first place for Flying Fox Racing, and had good pace all race long. He's had pretty good pace control and gap management here all race long. Let's see if that is going to be the case here for our remaining 8 laps of the race. Apex Sim Racing's Guardian still hanging strong here in 3rd place. We've got Tom the Tech here in 4th position. We've got Marv in 5th. We've got Shredda in 6th. Sooner Man here in 7th place. Jay Satina here in 8th position. And a long ways to go to catch anybody up there. We've got M. Morin here in 9th. We've got Heathen in 10th. We've got Tony Ruiz in 11th. And we've got Chip Reese here rounding out our field today. So all 12 drivers still on track. So haven't lost any cars behind pit wall today, which is always a great thing to see. And it is John Ruiz still kicking it around the racetrack here. And Egon's still just about the same distance. Actually lost a little bit of time here, I think, that last lap around on the race leader here. And potentially about 1.5, 2 seconds in behind now. And that's actually kind of allowed Apex Guardians to close back up a little bit. So, again, just giving a little and taking a little between each other here right now. But nobody really able to gain any solid ground on one another. We have Tom the Tech there in 4th place. We've got VPR's Marv here in 5th. We've got Shredda in 6th. And Suderman is still right there. I mean, he is only a couple seconds off the back of the green McLaren up in front there from Victory Pace Racing. And see if he can take advantage of that here before the end of the race. We got Jay Satina here in 8th position. And, I mean, really right now, he's in no man's land. He's got clean air. And he just needs to focus on putting in his quality laps. And you never know what will happen. I suppose racing is racing. 10th place Heathen here, holding down top 10. He's got Tony Ruiz there in 11th place, and Chip is right there in 12th. So, oh, we got an issue right there. No, we do not. Oh, the lag is so bad coming from this driver here. That's some interesting lag spikes we're seeing from our race leader here, and yeah, love to see it. We have TT's Egon here in 2nd position. We've got Apex Racing's Guardian here in 3rd. We've got Tom the Tech in 4th. We've got VPR's Marv here in 5th place. And we've got Shredda here in 6th place. Cars definitely don't do that, ladies and gentlemen. That's for sure. It's just, you know, it is what it is. Again, we are victims to the internet connection and the servers here at Gran Turismo 7. So sometimes that's just a part of it. We have Cedarman here in 7th place. We've got Jay Satina here in 8th position. We've got Mark Morin here in 9th. We've got Heathen here in 10th. We got Tony Ruiz, facing the wrong direction on the racetrack, and it is just falling apart for this driver here at the end of the race, and you just hate to see it. Chip here in 12th place. Alright, so it is, as we come down to start lap 19, which makes it 6 to go, John Ruiz still holding down the race lead here. It seems like the connection may be unstabilizing as the race is progressing here for this driver a little bit. Very, very interesting things happening there. Got Egon here in 2nd place. Guardian still very close behind here in 3rd place, and we've seen him get a little too tight on that curb a couple times here in this race, and he's been very has to strong arm that car around that curb not to let it hook him around there. So great car control coming from Apex Sim Racing's Guardian. We've got Tom the Tech here in 4th place. We've got Marv in 5th position. We've got Shredda here in 6th. We've got Suderman in 7th. We've got Jay Satina here in 8th. We've got Mark Morin in 9th. We've got Apex Sim Racing's Heathen here in 10th place. We've got Tony Ruiz in 11th, and we got Chip Reese here rounding out the field. So nothing really brewing right now on the racetrack. Everybody's just got enough separation here on the racetrack right now where nobody's able to really make anything immediately relevant to happen here. And it is John Ruiz who's still holding strong in 1st place. Egon's there in 2nd position, and just looking to try and close up that gap here and try and potentially get a race win here. And he is purple as he comes around. Tom the Tech right now 41.273, so now the fastest man on the racetrack currently here in the race. That leaves Apex Sim Racing's Guardian here in a 3rd position, and Tom the Tech starting to close up here in 4th place. So Tom the Tech slowly but surely has been working on catching up to that front pack, and he may have time. So it is Marv here in 5th place, with Shredda here in 6th. We got Suderman in 7th. We've got Jay here in 8th position. We've got M. Morin here in 9th. We've got Heathen here in 10th. We've got Tony Ruiz in 11th, and we've got Chip Reese in 12th position. So it is John Ruiz here right now in 1st place. I'm just trying not to speculate on what this driver's actually doing right now, because the lag is making it hard to determine where on the track he even is for me. So we'll just let the game do what it's going to do. But he looks like Egon closing up a little bit there, coming out of the exit of turn 2 here on lap number 20. So got Guardian here in 3rd position. We've got Tom the Tech here in 4th place. We got VPR's Marv here in 5th. Got Shredda in 6th place, and he's got a little bit of a gap to Marv up in front. Soonerman is still right there. Maybe lost a second over the last few laps to Shredda at most. Jay Satina here in 8th place, and I mean that's a good 8-9 second, maybe even 10-second gap to the drivers up in front. And Morin here has about 5 seconds to the driver up in front. Heathen here coming through, and looks like Chip off the track there. That corner has been absolutely devastating to several drivers here today on the racetrack. We got Tony Ruiz here in 11th place, and we got Chip getting back underway here again, and definitely going to have that crew looking at that car in between the off racing week here, and get that thing looked at, get it on the computer, and get it sorted out. You know, new cars, new racing cars. These drivers are just getting them tested, dialed in. They might have little bugs and quirks in them that, of course, each team will need to work out as the season progresses. But I definitely believe that by round 3 or 4, we are going to see some extremely tight nose-to-tail racing from these groups. And then that's just going to lead into an absolutely amazing final run of our championship for 4 or 5 weeks. So settle in, boys and girls. Pure Racing League is going to be bringing some pretty intense action as the season progresses. And I can just see it developing already here in front of our own eyes, just telling by the pace of the drivers and who the drivers are in each of these divisions. Oh, we got a mistake being made there, and oh boy, that McLaren has got to have a more serious underlying issue here on the racetrack. It's got to be some kind of broken suspension or something going on that car there. We don't know what's happening there, but boy, that car is definitely having a struggle here. We got Soonerman in 7th place. We got Jay here in 8th. We got M. Morin in 9th. Heathen in 10th. Tony Ruiz in 11th. And Chip is just can't wait for those laps to tick down here at this point and get that car back into the paddock and get what is going on with that thing sorted out. So it is John Ruiz here. It's cursed. It's cursed. That corner is cursed, it seems like. It is John Ruiz here in the lead, and Egon is still right there. I mean, Egon is not really let him get any further ahead, but Egon can't really seem to close the gap up on him here either. Apex Sim Racing's Guardian in the 3rd position here. He's got a little bit of breathing room still from Tom the Tech in behind, who's trying to close in here, and really it tells me that all 4 of these drivers particularly are very closely paced because they're not losing each other, but they sure aren't gaining on each other either, and that just means that they're running about the equal times around the racetrack right now. So you get them closer together, you all know what that means. We got VPR Marv here in 5th place. We got Shredda in 6th, Sudaman in 7th. We're just keeping our eye on the field here. We're keeping an eye on gaps. We're just checking on things here, seeing tires, seeing fuel, seeing if there's any implications on something like that in the race here today. And Egon closing up here on John Ruiz. I mean, he is in the tow here, and coming into turn 1, he's going to be right on the back bumper of the leader here. And coming into turns 1 and 2 here is still going to be John Ruiz in the lead, but Egon just settling in here, starting to close the gap. Now it's lap 22 of 25, so you do suspect if we're going to see drivers try to make something happen, it's going to start now. And maybe what we're seeing from Egon, he's finally decided he's going to try and close the gap up on the driver up in front here. That leaves Guardian in 3rd place still, but Tom the Tech seems like he's kind of doing the same thing here. He's starting to try and put a little bit of added pressure here to see if he can make up that time and fight for 3rd place here. We got VPR's Marv in 5th position. We got Shredda here in 6th with Soonerman in 7th place. We got some lap car up in front there. Got Soonerman in 7th place. Jay Satina here in 8th position, and looks like he is gaining on Soonerman there. We have M. Morin here in 9th place. We got Heathen in 10th place in a moment right there from Apex Sim Racing's Heathen. He scoops that car back up and manages to keep it moving in a forward direction. Intense moments here for the drivers in Division 3 around Sardegna A reverse today. But overall, pretty good racing from these drivers. And it seems like the Pro-Ams just like to take a little more risk, and they always seem to make it work. I don't know why, but always great racing to watch from Pro-Am caliber drivers. Alright, so it's very close here between Egon and John Ruiz right now. I mean, nose-to-tail driving, separated by only a couple tenths of a second at this point right now, are these two drivers as we head down to start lap 23. And heading down into the first corner, is Egon going to take a look here as he's in the slipstream here. It looks like he's just going to stay settled in behind here. And again, not 2x2 necessarily through this corner is ideal. Risk versus reward. We've talked about it a couple times already today. And definitely not worth the risk this late in the race. with a couple laps to go. Maybe on the final lap it's worth a risk, but I don't know. Egon here in second place. We've got Guardian here in third place, and Tom the Tech starting to close up. Things are going to heat up here, I think, up front before this race is over. We got Soonerman in 7th position. Jay Satina's here in 8th, and his Chip that's up in front of him there. We got M. Morin here in 9th. We've got Heathen in 10th place. We got Tony Ruiz in 11th, and we got Chip right there just in between Jay Satina and Soonerman. So here we go, that front four is starting to close up. Let's see if anything's going to happen here. Can Egon catch up to our race leader and make something happen? He's running out of time. He's got 2.5 laps remaining to make it happen. Apex and Racing's Guardian and Tom the Tech here, nose to tail here now as well. Tom the Tech taking a look on the shorter line, coming out of the corner, can't get it down. He's going to have to tuck back in behind. He's going to move up into the inside, get some clean air into that car, and he's just going to settle back in behind Apex and Racing's Guardian here right now. Guardian gets a little bit wide, able to get into the defensive position here, however, for the secondary corner. And so far, so good, keeping Tom the Tech up in behind here. But boy, oh boy, that fight for third place starting to heat up here. And with 2 laps remaining here, once they come around this final corner, it is going to be the push for the best position we can get here. Now on the racetrack, from Marvin 5th place, Shredda in 6th, Sooner in 7th. Jay Satina just closing in on Chip there in 8th place. We got M. Morin in 9th. We got Heathen in 10th. We got Tony Ruiz in 11th and Chip there in 12th place. Back to what's happening up front. Ruiz here looks like he got a good run, losing a little bit of gaining a little bit of time on Egon and opening up that gap a little bit. But right here, 3rd and 4th place, not so much the case here. These two still very close, both getting pretty good exit there. Tom getting the power down very early, had to wiggle it through there, but he manages to get the car to respond, and that puts him right underneath the tail fin of Apex and Racing's Guardian here. And as we come through this high-speed sector, it is going to be interesting to see when this battle is going to kick. Are we going to see Tom try to make something happen here on this lap, or is he going to leave it for the final lap? Can't get the power down, trying to stay on the rear bumper there. And again, another wiggle here from Tom the Tech, and that's going to allow Guardian just to have a moment of breathing room here to get around to start the final lap of the race. VPR Marv here in 5th place, with Shredda in 6th. We got Soonerman here in 7th. We got Jay in 8th place. We got M. Morin there in 9th. We got Heathen in 10th. We got Tony Ruiz in 11th and Chip Reese in 12th place. Back to our race lead as we are getting near the end of lap 24, and it's going to be white flag racing here as these drivers start to come around and start the finish line for the final time here today. And again, this race was ran last week, so we're just getting all that live action everybody missed to all the great viewers at home here right now. So Division 2 and Division 3 was done here today. If you missed the first race, it'll be available on the channels fairly shortly after we shut the broadcast down, of course, to watch at your own leisurely pleasure. We do appreciate all the support and all the fans that have come in and seen what we're doing here at Pure Racing League. Just want to say thank you to the viewers, and hope you all enjoy the show here today. And let's finish off this race here as we're on the white flag lap for our race leader, John Ruiz. Egon, Apex Guardian, starting to kick off here. Something went wrong there as there is an immediate battle for second and third place here. And Egon's got the inside line, and oh boy, Guardian got it a little bit wrong there. Got caught out on the outside marbles, and he went wide, and he's going to lose the position to Tom the Tech here now, and that's going to drop him off the podium, unfortunately, and you hate to see it on the last lap, but here we go. Egon now trying to hold off Tom the Tech here for second place, and it is fight on between these two McLarens, and this is good for John Ruiz, as he's going to be looking for this battle to happen, as that's just mean, oh, we got Guardian getting out of the way there. That wasn't Guardian, it was Heathen, pardon me. Same car as Heathen, making a mistake right in front of the leaders there. Boy, just getting out of the way in time, and that was tense moments right there, and I think we called that a code brown at the last lap of the race. But it is John Ruiz here coming around, and we're going to stick with this. Tom the Tech does manage to finally get around Egon here, and I just wanted to make sure we didn't miss it coming across start-finish line. We missed a move for second place, so Tom the Tech gets up ahead of Egon here in the second place, and Egon's trying to respond. Apex and Racing's Guardians right there tucked in behind here in the third place, and we got a three-way battle. We got Heathen in the background struggling a little bit there. Guardian's going to take a look up the inside on Egon. Egon's going to cover it off here, and oh boy, we got some racing happening here. We're just trying to keep an eye on everything that's happening here as Ruiz is coming around the final couple corners here, so we don't want want to miss out. Guardian's got third place here on Egon. Egon must have made a mistake. He's moving very slow. He may have ran out of fuel there in that racing car potentially, but it is going to be John Ruiz here with the race win for round 1 for Division 3. Congratulations to him on a great race. Second place is going to go to Flying Fox Racing's Tom the Tech here, and tense moments at the end of the race, but picking up big spots there, and it's going to be Apex Sim Racing's Guardian to take that final and third place finish spot there very, very late in the race. And Egon here out of fuel in that racing car, and he's going to lose a position here now to VPR Marv as well, and that is absolutely unfortunate. Miscalculation for his pit stop there, and going to drop himself down some positions, so Marv going to benefit, going to grab a P4 here. Egon's rolling down the line. Shredda here is going to come in, take a 6th place finish as well, and grab position from that driver. Egon's still trying to get that thing across the finish line. Suderman's going to take advantage. He's going to get the position, and Egon's just going to finish ahead of teammate Jay Satina there, coming in 8th place, and Morin's going to bring it home here in 9th position as he comes around the racetrack. And oh boy, you hate to see it, but we always see it once a week. One driver runs out of fuel, and well, round 1 it was Egon here, and unfortunate for him is some hard battling, maybe using up a little more fuel than he anticipated there, and costing him a few positions at the end of the race. But that's racing, folks. And Morin's going to bring it home here in 9th place. Apex and Racing's Heathen finishing it in 10th place there. We got Tony Ruiz coming around here. He's going to bring it home in 11th place for round 1 here for his start to the season. And a tough start for some racers and not so much for others. But boy, absolutely huge excitement at the end of both races here today. And some podium changes due to those exciting moments from both these races here today, that's for sure. So Tony Ruiz is going to bring it home here in 11th place as he comes across for the last time. And Chip Reese having a really tough day here. But you know what? He kept that thing on track all day long. And he's going to bring it across the checkered flag still running. So I mean, GG's. That's all you can ever ask for out of a racer. And you know what, that's valuable experience and valuable time put in behind the wheel. And he probably may have a better idea what's going on underneath, of course, the body of that racing car to help get that crew to assess it and get it fixed up for of course this week's upcoming race, which will be this coming Sunday, and it'll be Nürburgring GP. Of course, Division 1 will be live broadcast over on Twitch by Prima Dino, and of course Divisions 2 and 3 will be done later on in the week, the same way we did it here today on Thursday evening for everybody. So how was that for everybody? Some pretty interesting racing here from Divs 2 and 3 last weekend for our season opener from Pure Racing League. So again, I just want to extend a big thank you to Pure Racing League for giving me an opportunity to come in and put a voice to Division 2 and 3 this year. It looks like it's going to be a ton of fun. And, like I said, round 1, round 2, even sometimes leading into round 3 in any league, it's always drivers getting familiar with their cars, getting familiar with the settings of the series, and they're also getting familiar with each other on the racetrack. They're learning, they're taking information down, they're jotting mental notes about tendencies from certain drivers, maybe where their weaknesses are, maybe where their strengths are, and they're documenting this stuff mentally. So as the season progresses, they try to rely on that information to make more informed racing decisions on the fly around the racetrack as the season progresses, and that is most certainly what we're going to see from Pure Racing League this season in Division 2 and 3. We're going to see a couple 2 or 3 rounds of racing where everybody's still getting everything dialed in, and then from like rounds 4 to 8 we're just going to see a lot of door-to-door and nose-to-tail racing, and that's what I strongly believe based off what I've seen here today. And I mean, that's just a educated opinion, professional opinion based off of what I see on a day-to-day basis as a broadcaster. But much love to Pure Racing League and all their team in behind the scenes, getting things going here, getting the season off, and absolutely what a great start here at a very difficult racetrack of Sardegna A Reverse. So again, we're going to be at the Nürburgring GP for round 2, and that'll be kicked off here next Sunday, and I believe that's going to be at 5 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Eastern time is when race starts there. And again, on Twitch Division 1, and that is where what we like to call in the sim racing community, the aliens come out to play. So head over to Twitch if you're on Twitch and just search for Prima Dino. If you're in the PLR server, just take a look for, of course, the link in the server there, and you'll be able to watch that Div 1 action live as it happens. And wow, that was two pretty crazy races here so far, ladies and gentlemen. We're not done with the racing here today. We're going to take about a 45-minute break here, and we're going to be bringing a 90-minute endurance race from another one of our great organizations that we broadcast for over on ACC. So I just want to take a minute to thank everybody for coming in, hanging out with your boy Ghost here for our first official season with Pure Racing League. And I gotta tell you, they got something here. That one make series really does eliminate a lot of question marks and a lot of factors. It allows for it to be purely based off of skill-based racing. So the difference is the drivers behind the wheel, and it's going to be the case all season long. So we can already tell kind of which drivers are comfortable with their McLarens, and we can kind of see which drivers are not comfortable with their McLarens yet. That will change as the season progresses, and we're going to see some really crazy tight racing, without a question of a doubt, coming from Pure Racing League. And let's get a GG's Chris up in the chat, coming in with the big star bomb over on Facebook, dropping us 300 stars. My man. We appreciate you, my G. Stay winning, my guy. You're an absolute true one. And cheers for you, Timmy. Top comms as always. We appreciate you, my guy. We appreciate you, my guy. We appreciate all the support. Thank you for the likes and the shares on the stream. If you haven't liked to share the streams out yet, definitely do us a favor. Hit the likes and the shares. Completely free thing for everybody to do to help us out here. And we got a stacked Division 1 lobby in Pure Racing League. Several of our favorite World Tour drivers here in North America will be found on the grid in this series here this season, so you don't want to miss another moment, ladies and gentlemen. Absolutely great racing here, and it's only going to continue to get better, hotter, faster, and harder as the season progresses. So on behalf of Pure Racing League, I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in today, taking the time to hang out with us. We really hope you enjoy the start to our season here, and round 2 starts next Sunday at Nürburgring GP. We love y'all. We appreciate y'all. I'm your host for the evening, GT45 Gaming. I really hope you all enjoyed the broadcast here, and well, we'll catch you on the next one, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to send you out with just a little bit of music, and we'll see you soon.